Hello everyone, so this is lecture 31 of our subject digital system design, and the topic for today's lecture is analog to digital converters, in which we will be covering three different type of A to D converters. So these are the three A to D converters which we will be covering: successive approximation A to D converter, counting type A to D converter, and dual slop A to D converter. So going by the concept of these converters, we will first start with the successive approximation A to D converter. So by successive approximation, we have to first understand the concept. We will be successively approximating whatever is being applied at the input. So let's suppose we have to measure between 0 to 1 kg, okay, and we are having three weights: 1 by 2, 1 by 4, and 1 by 8. So we are having three weights: 1 by 2, 1 by 4, and 1 by 8. So we will start with the first approximation as, let's say, it is 1 by 2. So whatever is being told to us, what should be the value of this weight, what is the expected value of this weight, we will start with the first approximation as 1 by 2 kg. Okay, so 1 by 2 kg, and we will say it as 100 center value. So if 1 by 2 will be used, then we will say 1. These two weights are not used. Okay, so then I will check if the applied weight is greater than 1 by 2. If it is greater than 1 by 2, then I will add 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4. That means it will become 110. Okay, and if it is less than 1 by 2, weight is less than 1 by 2, then in that case I will not be using 1 by 2, I will be using 1 by 4. So I will be using 1 by 4. Okay, in that case I will be denoting it as 010. Similarly, further two decisions will be taken from this branch. So now 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, it becomes 3 by 4. So if W is greater than 3 by 4, okay, so if it is greater than 3 by 4, then I will be adding 1 by 2. That means it is still greater, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8. So this scenario will be there. In that case I will be denoting it as 111. Okay, and if it is not the case, okay, if it is WA is less than 3 by 4, if it is less than 3 by 4, then I will remove 1 by 4 and add 1 by 8. Then in that case it will be 1 by 2 plus 1 by 8. Okay, so it will be 101. Okay, similarly here, if it is greater than 1 by 4, then I have to add 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4. Okay, and similarly if it is less than 1 by 4, then I have to remove 1 by 4 and I have to use 1 by 8. So in that case it will be 001. Okay, so in that case it will be 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, that means it is 011. Okay, similarly here, now 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8, it actually becomes 7 by 8. So if my weight is greater than 7 by 8, then there is no further scope that I can add more, because I have consumed all the weights. So that means it can be the maximum value, so I will assign it as 111. But if it is less than 7 by 8, then I can remove 1 by 8. So it will be 110. Similarly for this branch, if it is greater than 1 by 2 plus 1 by 8, now I have no more smaller weights, so that I can add, there is no 1 by 16 here. Okay, so there is nothing I can do with this, so it will be 101. So it is 7 by 8, and now I am checking here as 5 by 8. Okay, so for this 5 by 8 I will be using this, but if it is less than 5 by 8, for greater than 5 by 8 I have no other option, but for less than 5 by 8 I can remove this last 1 by 8, so that it becomes 100. Okay, similarly here 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, that means it is 3 by 4, or if we are denoting everything in this 3 by formula. So if it is greater than 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, okay, then it will remain like this. 3, if it is greater than 3 by 8, then it will remain 0 1 1, and if it is less, then I can remove this last one so that it becomes 0 1 0. Similarly for this branch, if it is greater, then I can do nothing, it will remain 0 0 1, and if it is less, if it is still less than this, then I have no other option but to remove all the weights. In that case it will be 0 0 0. So in this way we can see that I can have any of these possible values depending on what I am applying on this initial side. What this weight is, there are different possible values. So there are 8 possible outputs for this A to D successive conversion, successive approximation. So from this point of view, this becomes a concept of this successive approximation. And there is one more point, as we have seen that the minimum gap is 1 by 8. Okay. So if minimum gap between the two values is 1 by 8, so we can mark it as 7 by 8, this is 7 by 8, if then this is 6 by 8, then this is 5 by 8, 4 by 8, 3 by 8, 2 by 8, and 1 by 8, and this is 0 by 8. Okay. So instead of using 1 by 2 as we have done in case of DACs, we had made the to make the quantization error half. So we chose the step size as half of LSB, that means 1 by 16. So I can use 1 by 16, okay, then 3 by 16, 5 by 16, 7 by 16, 9 by 16, and up to going further till 15 by 16. So I can continue like this as well. Okay. So this will be giving me better performance if I choose this 1 by 16 quantization step. Okay. So based on this, I will be designing a circuit which is shown as this. So there is a comparator. To the positive terminal of this comparator, I am applying an analog voltage, and to the negative terminal of this comparator, D to A converter is giving its output, and there is an offset voltage of half LSB 0.5, which we have done deliberately so that we can make 1 by 8 as 1 by 16. So we are reducing the quantization step actually here. Okay. So there is a programmer here, and the programmer is accepting the comparator output. That means depending on the comparator value, if comparator output is 1 means analog input VA greater than VDAC. Okay. So in that case, if comparator output is 1, or the second possibility will be comparator output 0, which will be when VA will be less than VDAC. So what we are expecting from the programmer? So if VA is greater than VDC, then there is a scope of further addition. Okay. This programmer can further add some more weights so that it becomes equal. Okay. So in that case, make next MSB also high. Okay. Starting approximation, will be 100. We will be starting with 100. That means this is going to be our starting point. Okay. So let's suppose I am designing a 3-bit successive approximation A to D converter, then this 100 is going to be the starting value. So if this is the case, then I will be making the next bit also high, and if comparator output is 0, then I will make present MSB low, MSB from the lower side, from LSB side. Okay, looking from the LSB side. So we will make that low, and next MSB high. Okay, so this is what programmer is going to do. So it will be more clear if we implement this concept. So let's say we have applied a voltage 6 here, 6 volt we are applying. So this is going to be the first approximation. 100 will enter to D2A converter, it will be giving me 4. So 4 minus 0.5, here it will be 3.5. So it is 3.5 and it is 6. So 6 and 3.5 will be compared. So 6 is greater than 3.5. So positive value is greater than the negative value. So it will generate a 1. So for this 1, what this programmer will do, it will start looking from the LSB side and make next most MSB, next higher MSB will also be high. So now it becomes 110. Now this 110 enters D2A converter. If D2A enter, it becomes 6 minus 0.5, then it becomes 5.5, 5.5 and 6. That means in that case it will say it is still high, so it will be still giving 1. So in that still, if it is 1, then it will make the next MSB also high. In that case it will be 7. 7 will go back to the circuit, it will become 7. 7 minus 0.5, it will now become 6.5. And here now for the first time comparator output has exceeded this negative terminal value, has exceeded the positive terminal value. So this will be now 0. Now if it is 0, then it will start looking from the LSB side, whatever is the first MSB, it will complement it to 0 and remaining values will be retained. So this is how it will be reaching 110. Now it can see that this is the replica of the previous stage and the comparator has exceeded this value. So from that point of view, it will stay there and we can check that we have stopped on 110. Okay. So for this 110, the counter has stopped counting. So this is the final output. And we can take one more example. We can take one more example in which we have applied, let's say, value as we have applied here, let's say 2. Okay. So for this 2, again approximation will start from 100. Okay. So for this 100, now 100 will be 4. So 3.5 will be there, 3.5 will be greater than 2. So there will be 0 at the programmer output. So in that case, what programmer will do, it will make the highest MSB 0 and the next one as 1. So it will become 2, 0, 1, 0. Now 0, 1, 0 will enter the DAC. DAC will be giving 2, 2 minus 0.5, it will be 1.5, 1.5 will be less than that. So in that case, comparator will be generating a high value. So for that high value, the next value will be again made high. So it will become 0, 1, 1. So for 0, 1, 1, again it will be reaching here. So it will be 3, then minus 5, 2.5, 2.5. So here I am getting 2.5. I am writing the negative voltage here. So at the starting point it was 3.5, then it became, for this it became 1.5, then it became, now for this 110 after subtracting 0.5, then it becomes 5.5. Okay, then we can check that it again now it shows that it is still higher. Okay, now it becomes higher, then higher case it will be saying that remove the last MSB, next highest MSB. Okay, so from that point of view it will be showing this 0, 1, 0. So it will be stopping here 0, 1, 0 as the stages are starting to repeat. So for this 0, 1, 0 we can check that 0, 1, 0 is equivalent to 2 and we have applied 2 already here. Okay, so in this way we can convert any analog voltage into a digital voltage by using successive approximation concept. Okay, now coming to the counting type A to D converter. So counting type A to D converter has simple architecture compared to the previous one. In this, the programmer has been replaced by the binary counter. By doing so, what benefits we can extract? We can say that from this arrangement, now there will be no approximation and it will be counting operation and it will start from 0, 0, 0. Okay. So if we apply 6 here, so it will be 0, D2A converter output will be 0. 6 is greater than 0, there will be 1, there is a clock here. So this clock can enter the counter, counter will proceed further, it will become 0 0 1. So if 0 0 1 is there, then it will become 1. Still the analog voltage is greater than the D2A converter output, so it will again send one more pulse, then it will become 0 1 0. Similarly it will proceed further 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0. So as soon as it reaches 1 1 0, so if 1 1 0 is there, then it becomes 6. Now 6 is equal to 6, so this comparator output will be 0 and counter will not be provided any more clock, and in that case counter will stop the counting operation and the output will be displayed as 110. So this is the counting type operation of this ADC circuit. Okay. So comparing the performance of this ADC, that is the counting type ADC, with the performance of this successive approximation ADC, we can see that the operation of this counting type ADC is comparatively simpler than the operation of your successive approximation A to D converter. Okay. So these are the two A to D converter which are themed around the same concept, but successive approximation will be giving me faster response, because in that case number of approximations will decide the, because in maximum 4 number of clocks it will be giving me the final output. That means for, and if it is a 3 bit, then maximum number of clocks will be 3, but in case of counter, the counter has to start counting. So if there is a larger value applied, if it is a great higher size A to D converter, let's say 10 bit A to D converter, then if the number is higher, then it might take time to reach 2 raised to power 10 pulses. 2 raised to power 10 pulses will be counted and then output will be displayed. So from that point of view, counting type A to D converter will be slower than successive approximation A to D converter. So these are the two A to D converters which are almost similar, but counting type ADC gives simpler operation but more processing time is there. Now we will proceed to the dual slope A to D converter. So this dual slope A to D converter is the most complex circuit, we can say that, but it gives satisfactory output, and it can, we can say that it is slightly better in performance than as compared to the previous two versions, although the fastest will always going to be the flash type A to D converter or the parallel comparator type A to D converter, which we had covered in our last lecture. But for the time being, let's start with the process of dual slope A to D converter. So for this dual slope A to D converter, first we have to understand what are the different components available in this A to D converter. So there are 4 components, okay, 4 major components. These 4 major components are integrator, okay, then this is first integrator, then second one is comparator, then third one is counter, then fourth one is your this switch driver. Switch driver, here is a T flip flop is acting as a switch driver. Okay. So let's start with the operation. Now this integrator, the output of integrator is denoted by, as we can see that there is a negative terminal which is accepting the input. So the output of this integrator will be -1 by tau 0 to t, whatever input you are applying V in into dt. Okay. So this is the output of the integrator. So initially this switch is at position VA. Okay. So initially the switch is at position VA, and this VA will be fed into this integrator. So the integrator output will be -1 by tau 0 to t VA into dt. Okay. So VA is common, minus VA by tau into t 0 to t. So if we put the limits, then it becomes minus VA by tau into t. Okay, so this is the output. Now as the time is passing, as the time passes, this time increases from 0 to t time, this constant value, this value will start, as it is there is a negative sign, this negative sign shows that this value will keep moving in the negative direction progressively, something like this. It will start moving in the negative direction. So this is moving in the negative direction, that means till there is a negative value here and this positive terminal is grounded. So anything of negative value will always be lesser than 0. So that comparator will always be giving me one output. So if comparator is giving me one output, that is high output, and clock pulses are there, this is an AND gate, 1 into clock pulses, that means clock can enter as long as the comparator output is high. As soon as the comparator output becomes 0, this AND gate output will become 0 and no more clocks can enter the counter. So clock will be entering the counter, so counter will be counting from 0 0 0, so it will start from 0 0 0 and so on, and finally when the complete count has reached, then all ones will be there, and still at that point of time if there is one more pulse, then it will be again 0 0 0 0. So we can see that there is 1 to 0 transition at the MSB. Now this MSB of the counter is connected to the clock of the T flip flop, in which T is equal to 1. That means this T flip flop can always toggle if clock is available. So clock is negative edge means 1 to 0 transition. So this 1 to 0 transition is your negative edge. So this negative edge is generated at the MSB of the counter, and this will toggle the output of this flip flop. So this output gets toggled and that switch will now be connected to VR, minus VR. Okay. So now there is a minus VR, minus VR will be connected to the input of this integrator. So at this point of time, before that time, let us say it is time t1, till time t1 input to integrator was VA. After t1 input to integrator is equal to minus VR. Now as there is a negative input to the integrator now, and already there is a negative sign in the integrator output, now the output will start moving towards the positive direction. So it can be seen from this graph. So till this point t1, we have noticed that the output is minus VA by tau t, and from this point onwards the input has now changed from VA to minus VR. So from that point of view, again if we check that, if we split that V in dt formula, so it will be minus 1 by tau VA dt 4 times 0 to t1 and plus t1 to t 1 by tau, also with a minus sign, okay, and minus VR dt. So in that case the final output will be minus VA by tau t1 plus VR by tau t minus t1, okay, which is shown here as well. So now the output will start moving towards the positive direction. So once it starts moving towards the positive direction, okay, once it has started moving towards the positive direction, so at some point of time it is going to be 0. So we have to wait till the time it reaches 0, and let's say that time is t2. Now let's say that time is t2 at which this negative going pulse has started moving towards the positive direction, and then this positive going pulse has finally reached the 0 point. So after reaching this 0 point, this t2 will be 0 and this voltage V naught is equal to 0. Okay. So we have to write this V naught is equal to this formula. This is actually equal to V naught. Okay. So we have to mention here at time t is equal to t2, V naught is equal to 0, as we can see from this graph. Okay. So once this has been reached, so we can put this as 0. So in that case I will be getting VA by tau T1 will be equal to VR by tau T minus T1, and here T is equal to T2. So I am replacing T by T2. Okay. That means tau gets cancelled out. So we can see that T1 is equal to VR by VA. Okay. VR by VA, and this will be T2 minus T1. Okay. T1 will be equal to, or we can say this, from this we can write T2 minus T1 will be equal to VA into T1 upon VR. Okay. Now this time T1 was the time when the counter has reached the maximum count. Okay. When the counter has reached the maximum count, then that means this T1 can be, in that time counter has counted n number of, because it was an n bit counter, and full scale counting reaches 2 raised to power n pulses, and one clock duration, let's say it is Tc. So this T1 time will be equal to 2 raised to power n Tc. Okay. And this time T2, here count from this time T1, counter operation has restarted, counting operation restarted, and till that time T2, let's suppose n pulses would have been counted. So T2 minus T1, so T2 in, let's suppose say in T2 minus T1 n pulses would have been counted. So T2 minus T1 would have been equal to n Tc, where Tc is equal to clock duration. Tc is equal to clock duration. Okay. So let's replace these values. T2 minus T1 is equal to n Tc is equal to VA by VR into 2 raised to power n Tc. So Tc gets cancelled out. So VA ultimately becomes equal to n into VR upon VA into 2 raised to power n. Okay. Now if this VA is not there, okay, VA is equal to n into VR upon 2 raised to power n. This is actually in denominator, this is here, n into VR upon 2 raised to power n. Now if VR is equal to, if we are able to manage VR is equal to 2 raised to power n, then in that case ultimately VA becomes equal to n. So VA becomes equal to n. That means the count of the counter is exactly proportional to the applied analog output. So from that point of view, the counter output will be displaying value equal to the analog input. Okay. So this is how the analog voltage applied at the input of the integrator gets converted into digital output at the counter output. So in this way, this dual slope ADC converts analog value into a digital value. Okay. So with this we come to the end of the lecture. Thank you very much.